If I told you that heroin is addictive, you wouldn't question it. We are raised on a very simple story about drugs. If you use a chemical for 20 days, by day 21, your body will physically demand it. The chemical hooks into your brain and you become a slave. Once you're hooked for life. This is the story we've been told for 100 years. It's the foundation of the war on drugs. It's the reason we lock people in prison cells. But there's a problem. This story is based on bad science, and the truth suggests that we have completely misunderstood the nature of human suffering. Our understanding of addiction comes from a series of experiments conducted in the early 20th century. The setup was simple but cruel. You take a rat and put it in a Skinner box. This is a solitary confinement cage. Nothing to do, nowhere to go, no friends, just a tiny metal box. Inside, the rat has two options, a bottle of pure water and a bottle of water laced with heroin or cocaine. The results were terrifyingly consistent. The rat, driven crazy by isolation, would obsessively drink the drugged water. It would ignore food, ignore sleep, and consume the drug until it killed itself. Scientists looked at this and said, "See, the drug is so powerful it makes you commit suicide." But in the 1970s, a professor named Bruce Alexander looked at these cages and asked a different question. He realized that the rats weren't just taking drugs because of the chemical, they were taking drugs because they were being tortured by isolation. So he built Rat Park. This wasn't a cage, it was a lush, open paradise. It had tunnels, colorful balls, delicious food, and plenty of space. But most importantly, it had a community. He put male rats and female rats together. They could play, have sex, and raise families. Alexander put the same two bottles in Rat Park, the water and the morphine. The result destroyed the old theory. The rats in Rat Park didn't like the drug. They tried it, tasted it, and then they ignored it. While the isolated rats consumed massive lethal doses, the happy rats consumed less than 5 milligrams. Not a single rat in Rat Park died of an overdose. This proved something profound. The rats in the cages weren't dying because of the heroin. They were dying because they were lonely. The drug was their only way to numb the silence of their existence. Critics argued, sure, that works for rats, but human biology is different. Our chemical hooks are stronger. But history gave us a human version of this experiment, the Vietnam War. During the war, 20% of American soldiers were using high-grade heroin. They were terrified, far from home, surrounded by death, and stuck in a jungle hell. They were in the bad cage. The American public panicked. They thought that when the war ended, thousands of zombie addicts would flood the streets of the U.S. But that didn't happen. When the soldiers came home, when they returned to their families, their jobs, and their peaceful lives, 95% of them simply stopped. They didn't need rehab, they didn't go into withdrawal, they just walked out of the cage. This brings us to the terrifying question. If addiction is a symptom of isolation, why is addiction rising today? Look around you. We live in the most connected time in human history, yet we are the loneliest generation to ever exist. We have built a human version of the Skinner box. We live in small apartments. We work in cubicles. We order food from an app to avoid talking to people. We scroll through social media for hours watching other people live while we sit alone in the dark. We have replaced human connection with digital dopamine. Is it any wonder we're addicted to our phones, to pornography, to video games, to substances? We aren't addicted because the screen is chemically irresistible. We are addicted because we are in pain. We are mimicking the rats in the lonely cages, frantically pushing the button, hoping to feel something other than loneliness. Bruce Alexander's conclusion challenges everything we do as a society. He said, the opposite of addiction is not sobriety. The opposite of addiction is connection. We don't need to wage war on the chemicals. We need to wage war on the isolation. We need to tear down the walls of our digital cages and learn how to be with each other again. Because right now, we are all just drinking from the wrong bottle, waiting for the cage to open.